Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are, I hope everybody's really doing well. So, the weekend is coming, guys. Friday is in, and Bitcoin literally perfectly went as planned for the B wave. Slightly missed it by Golden Pocket Zone, but overall, 60K was touched. And we dumped down. I was expecting it to hold the 786, maximum 886 Fibonacci level, but we swept the lows. This changes the whole thing. So first of all, we're going to discuss the lowest on time frame for the Bitcoin, guys. If Bitcoin would not have swept these lows, then it would be nice. Then that would be like, A, B, C, and then we can dump like this. But then we have swept the lows. This changes everything, because that also means that this is some sort of a irregular expanded flat, and hence what I feel or what I'm watching is right now is a very good irregular expanded flat, which is this is wave A over here, a three wave move, wave B a little bit sideways gonna happen. I would like to see some sideways because we are at a good support. You are at the previous month POC, which is like a July POC. That's where in July lot of bulls have accumulated around 57.7. So that's like July POC over here. So practically speaking, it's a very good levels in my view, and a little bit sideways, and maybe one more down is also a possibility. Just a one more week down like this, a reclamation of the previous one POC, and I would like to see it pump it up towards the previous week POC of 60.8, and maybe can even go to 61.3, because eventually we are doing irregular expanded flat. I'm not expecting anything above 61.8. So I don't see anything above 61.8 on Bitcoin at this point. But yes, the pump is expected from here. Maybe one more down is possibility on the lower time frame, because if you look at the lower time frame, the 15 minutes chart, normally C wave is 5 waves. Always remember, C wave is always 5 waves. So if you look at here, where are 5 waves? This is wave 1, this is wave 2, this may be wave 3 over here. But then the problem is, if I consider this is wave 5, then the problem is the volume is pretty much high. Normally wave 5 volume is very low, and hence I think there is a very little chance over here for that the bottom might not be in. We might see one more push on the downside. Probably we might see one more push on the downside. And for those who really want to play some scalps over here, what you can do is probably you can short a retest like this. This is like a bearish retest to me, and a very good order block. So practically any bearish retest of 59.6 to 59.7, you can take some scalps. It's a very risky one, honestly, because it's like shorting the bottom. We are very close to bottoming for ABC. And hence, someone also asked me that, hey, why are we not going to play the long scalp? Remember, we are in a downtrend at this moment, and you really don't want to play any longs when you're in a downtrend. Just ride the trend. So every bounces we get, we want to short it. I really had my eyes on this golden pocket zone of 62,191.8 to short the Bitcoin, and I was simply waiting for it. I was watching it, and suddenly out of nowhere, we just dumped it. So I was like, maybe there is a possibility the top might be in. So I could not give that scalp, but it was a perfect plan actually in my view. We might see one more down like this. The only reason I feel that one more down is possible is because Ethereum is not yet done. Ethereum needs to sweep the lows. It needs to go to 2,380, maybe even 2,367, so that it can finish it. I mentioned yesterday as well that 2589 is your resistance, 2590 is your resistance, and I expect it to reject from there. And one more down is a possibility, and that's exactly what it's doing right now at this moment. So what I feel right now, there are two possibilities for ETH. What if the bottom is in? This is some sort of the bottom, and this is wave A, this is wave B over here, and we go for one more push on an upside towards wave C basically. Just hold on, let me just increase the sound so that it captures properly. Also, let me just set up a mic. Perfect. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are two possibilities over here. The first possibility, as I mentioned, the wave count, that fifth wave is not yet in. One more down is the likelihood over here, because I do think there should be one more down on the downside the way Bitcoin didn't. In case if you don't, and if you start reversing or if you start reclaiming I would say 2,500 $2,500 like this, or 501. If you do reclaim it, you can scalp it over there, and your take profit targets would be 2,643 to 2,670. That's what your take profit targets would be. So we have two possibilities over here on the Ethereum from the lower term time frame perspective. Either one more downside, just give us a sweep of anywhere under 2,390. Even $2 sweep would be fine. But after that, I'm expecting it to just retest 2,678 anyway. So overall, I think Ethereum is very much good compared to Bitcoin. Even BTC, not necessarily that we might see one more downside, but there is a possibility one more down because of the wave count. In case if you don't get it, if you do happen to flip it, I do think that it's going to do something like this. And after that, there will be a very good breakout on Bitcoin on the over the weekend. I suppose that's a very good trend line. You have it. So just wait for it to break out, and once we get a breakout over here, we will scalp it over the weekend. My target is, as I mentioned, 61.4, maximum 61.1, 61.8. I really don't see anything above 61.8 at this point. If we go above 61.8, it changes everything. The whole wave count is going to change, and everything is going to go for a toss at that point of time. So practically speaking, ladies and gentlemen, we already swept the lows. A perfect opportunity was here for Bitcoin, and that was a good opportunity to buy the previous month POC. For those who bought it, fine. If you didn't buy anything yet, wait for it. Wait for the wave to happen. Either just give us like this. You can buy some spots around $58,000 or $58,100. In case if you go for one more downside, it's okay. Just hold for it. And once you reclaim it, you can DCA, you can add more, and you can let it ride. But overall, I think we will be touching 61,800 because tomorrow is the month ending, month closing, and for CME chart, today is the month closing basically. So how CME is going to close, most likely in the next 4 hours, CME will close. And what we see for the very first time, what I'm watching right now for the CME is that, just look at here. For the very first time, we are watching that CME is going to likely close on a 59,400. And if we do happen to close on a 59,400 for the very first time, I do think that the September begins with a little bit bloodbath, and it's gonna be a very good dip buying season in my view. But overall, this also means that the monthly have turned very, very bearish. Few months back in the month of April, when I mentioned there is an engulfing candle, lot of people have criticized me on Twitter that, hey, this is not an engulfing candle. This was not an engulfing candle. This is something else. Blah blah blah. Many people are like, you don't know what is engulfing candle. I mean, now I want to tell you, each and every one of those guys who really make fool of me that this is not an engulfing candle. No, this was an engulfing candle. You really need to understand the definition of engulfing candle. Perfectly played out. It went to 786 Fibonacci level as a bearish retest. Dump it back down to $48,000. It's not a joke actually. It's a perfect engulfing candle played out actually. So now the bullback territory for Bitcoin is 59,500. Again, I'm telling you on the CMEs, plus minus $100 on various other exchanges. Maybe Binance is maybe 59.4, 59,600. Maybe Bybit is 59.5. But overall, plus minus $100 is very, very, very crucial for me actually. I really don't want to see CME closing at a 59,400 because if we close, then we have a big problem. Very big problem. Because just look at the daily chart over here. Look at the daily time frame. Look at the EMAs over here. What are we watching over here on the daily? What are we seeing over here on the daily? If you look at here on the daily time frame, yes, we have lost the EMA 50, we have lost the EMA 100 rejection happened, EMA 21 is lost. Practically we have lost everything. I mean, it's like we are likely going to retest the support of EMA 200 on the CME chart. But if you look at from the perspective of the Coinbase chart on the daily for Bitcoin, I mean, you will see that, hey, we have already lost, I would say already lost the EMA 200. I mean, that's very, very, very interesting because even if you look at the Binance chart, you will see that we are closing 4 consecutive candles under EMA 200. which is not a good sign. That was the yesterday candle was a perfect rejection. So practically speaking, to me, the EMA 200 is lost, and we closed once, twice, thrice, three consecutive closes already happened. The volume is pretty much not, pretty much drying up. So as I mentioned, even if this move, what you're watching here, is your wave A that has happened. Now the wave B, it cannot be bigger. It was just like a retest of EMA 50 in my view, and then we're likely going to continue on the downside of $54,000. As I mentioned, over here as well. So practically speaking, one more push on the lower term time frame. That's an irregular expanded flat. Now, guys, irregular expanded flat. Many of you guys know about it. Not necessarily we should be sweeping this highs. It can even go to 786 Fibonacci levels practically. So if you look at from the perspective of the 786 Fibonacci levels of this highs to the lows, the 786 Fibonacci levels was standing around 60,300 as well. I mean, this is where the bare minimum target would be. The maximum target, as I mentioned, 61.8, and we will see at that point of time. But overall, guys, I simply want to relong, or I want to long only and only once we flip the previous week value area low, basically around 58,888. That will be very interesting. If you are the two type of traders, if you're a conservative trader or you're an aggressive trader. Conservative trader, yes, you can buy around 58,100, 58,000. You can even DCA 57.7 with your invalidation under $57,000. It'll take profit targets would be 60.3 and later on 61.4. So that will be take profit targets. Don't wait for more. Just take profit and run. If you are an aggressive conservative trader, wait for it to flip 58,800. You really want a risk-free trade. Let it flip, let it go for a breakout, and once it breaks out, you can literally long on the retest around 58,800 to 58,900, like this. Go for a breakout like this, come back down as a retest, and then you let it go, something like this. This is very, very interesting at that point of time. You can still make more than 3 to 4 hours on this setup. So there are two types of, for both the kind of trader you are, you can play accordingly. But the plan is this. Maybe one more downside is a likelihood of one more sweep of the lows, and then later we can push up over here. The full-fledged bear case scenario would be that this is not ABC and this is some sort of a 5 waves, meaning that, the top is already in for a B wave or a wave 2, basically, which means that very, very bearish scenario would kick in. And hence your stop loss is a must. You should not ride without stop loss, guys. And the bear case scenario, the ultra bear case scenario would be that, even the local top is in, basically. We have already did ABC, 3 waves were in. So practically, this was like a 5 waves over here. This is 5 waves. This is ABC already. This is wave 1, what's happening right now. That's going to be our wave 2 over here. Wave 3, 4, 5. We go down to 786 Fibonacci levels of $53,000. Another wave 4 happens. We go down here to 0.86. That's like an ultra bear case scenario, which is something, a bear case, literally the lower term time frame bear case scenario, which we have it at this point. The invalidation of this bear case scenario, as I mentioned, anything above 58,888, and this bear case is going to invalid. And we will be looking for push towards 61.1 to 61.3 with a minimum push of $60,800. So that's what the plan for Bitcoin. That's what the plan for Ethereum. For Solana, I think for Sol, same plan as I mentioned. One more downside was expected. It has happened. We have swept the lows over here. So practically speaking, in my view, it's a very good opportunity which is happening right now for the Solana. It can be a very good opportunity. You just need a Bitcoin to reverse, actually. If Bitcoin starts reversing, Solana can give us a very good bounce, actually, in my view. Just look at here. It's a very good, very, very, very good deviation that's happening over here. The volume is pretty much high. It's like, we are having an order block on the 4 hours time frame as well over here. So practically speaking, we go to the golden pocket zone, 130.3, maybe $130. Once you reclaim the range lows, you can long it from there towards your 149. So that's what your first target would be. In case if you flip here, you can expect one more push up, but after that, I'm expecting it to dump like this. overall we are at this point, Solana is not looking that bullish to me on the half time frame now. Why? Because simply that we did not sweep the highs over here, and we are doing right now some sort of A, B, and we are doing 5 waves on the downside, practically speaking. So, you know, any push on an upside like 170 to 180 dollars on Solana would be a very nice scalp for you to get it. But after that, you know, my if you really ask me where should I be longing or buying Solana, how I would play it, honestly speaking, from the Elliot theory perspective, give me one more down to golden pocket zone. Just give us a bearish retest like this. Reject, come back down to 702. Again, give us a bearish retest. Reject, come back down to 786. And then make everyone feel bearish about it. And out of nowhere, give us the big move on an upside. This is how the best, you know, structure would be, or the bullish structure formation would be for Solana, with the 5 waves on the downside for Sol, basically. So either for aggressive buyers, you can buy anywhere from 126 to 121. For conservative buyers, you can buy above 136.1 once it flips. Your invalidation levels is $117 for Solana. If we close daily under 117, that's it. We will be looking more downside to $100. Then on Solana, we'll be doing irregular expanded flat, meaning this is wave A, this is A, B, and as you know, this is going to be like irregular flat, and then we push up. So first of all, we take liquidity on the downside, and then we can push up. So that's way. But right now, it's looking good. There's nothing to be worried about, because as we expect Bitcoin to even push up to 61.1 to 61.3, so means that everything else should push, including Solana, including Ethereum. So yes, I am favoring bullish count on the lower term time frame versus bearish count. So my favorable position right now is bullish on Solana as well. FET guys, I've got my spot backs filled for FET partially, I would say 30% in with 1.1, and I am having one more order. My biggest order I have at $1. And as I mentioned in FET that I would like to see a rejection on FET around 1.4, 1.5. And that's exactly because we also had a very good 2 rockets over here on the 4 hours time frame. And it was a very good resistance actually. And even if you look at from the perspective of the 1 hour time frame, there was a very good resistance around 1.42 basically. So yeah, I mean, we are at a good support right now. If everything goes well, and if FET is literally bullish, you can expect FET to just give us a very good bounce towards $2 to $2.16, giving us a very interesting minimum bounce to 2.1. That's going to be a minimum bounce. In case if it goes for another bull run, let's say the Giga bull run, and if it literally goes for that bull run on FET, then that's a different story. The target would be around $5.5 to $7. That's our analysis that we have on FET. Similarly, as I mentioned, render is also not looking that good, but render, I don't expect it to just go for another impulsive move. Let me show you why. Perfect. So I expect render is having a very sharp downside, and it's a very clear sign for render that it's formed 3 waves, A, B, C, meaning that 3 waves are never a sign for never a sign for the impulsive move. It's never a sign for an impulsive move, practically speaking, which means that render is not giving me any reversal sign yet. At this point, no, it's not giving me that sign. But of course, we are at support right now, the way Bitcoin was. So practically, this is your range high support, and we really want to see a nice bounce from here on render to give us a bearish retest around the resistance of 5.97, and after that, one more down towards 4.11. So that's what I am going for render. Okay, this is my plan for render. You can also look for 3-day EMS support, honestly, but I don't play 3-day chart. The only reason being, you have to be very logical about it. Okay, as a trader, normally what kind of charts the institutional investor trades for? They trade for weekly, they trade for daily, they trade for 4 hour chart, they trade for 1 hour, that's it. And maybe even 15 minutes. Somebody trades 5 minutes as well. But those are not institutions, they are scalpers. But so practically speaking, the 2 days chart, 3 days chart, uh, are useless in my view. I mean, it's not going to give you that accurate outlook of what you really want to look for, because for the financial markets, the 6 days would be a week, and for crypto there is no 6 days. It's all 24/7 round the clock practically, which means that the daily chart, or you can say the monthly chart or the weekly chart, makes more and more sense instead of me looking for 2 days or 3 days chart, because I've never tested how the 2 days or 3 days chart would be playing out. So practically speaking, ladies and gentlemen, if you really want, look for the daily, look for the 4 hours time frame. Yeah, if you really want 3 days and if you're confident about it, you should play. But honestly speaking, to me, I'm just gonna play the levels. I mean, this is what the levels are. If you really ask me how big I would go on this, how big I would go on this Solana scalp, yeah, I will be most likely going 50% risk versus the normal scalp on Solana, because I would also be taking some Bitcoin scalp as well, and will give you as well. And I'm also building FET position. My stop loss for FET would be around 0.81. That is going to be a stop loss as well. So measure your risk considering that anything under 0.8, it's invalidated, and just accept the loss and close it. That's it. That's what you want to do for FET as well. But overall, we are right now playing the bull versus bear scenario for FET. Right now, the bull case is so valid. The risk reward is amazing, and hence, I'm determined to take that risk, or I'm willing to take that risk, 1.5% risk on FET overall. So yeah. US oil, guys. Again, crude oil is not looking that bad. There are two possible scenarios for crude oil. Either this was 5 waves over here, that was your wave B, that is wave 1, wave 2, and we have already started downside. So we're just gonna lose the 70.5 over here, and once we lose it, yeah, we're gonna dump it back down to 49 to $48 maybe. And if not, if you're holding 70.5, we have a triangle over here. This is wave A over here, A, B, C, small bounce, D, E. We just hold 70.5, and from there we got a pump up to 110, maybe one sweep of the highs, like going to $150, and after that we dump it back down to $70. So that is also a possibility. So crude oil right now is a do or die level. 70.5 is your strong support. Remember, if 70.5 breaks, everything is going to go for a toss. I do think. Why? Because the economies that are heavily reliant on oil as their primary source of income, those are going to get wrecked, in my view. So practically speaking, also the energy is going to be very cheap for the coming winter, and Europe have nothing to worry about it at this point of time. Why? Because there is practically, let's say, for example, just giving you a very simple example. What's going to happen is, currently, oil is at $74, so you need to just sell 1 barrel, okay? So you can make $74. Just imagine if oil dumps to $57. What you need is, you need to sell 2 barrels so that you can generate that amount of revenue, and so and henceforth the profit as well. You need that value terms profit. So you need to sell more and more oil in the market. Thereby, what's going to happen is, it's going to literally create a huge supply in the market at that point of time. And I'm damn sure a lot of people are going to be in panic, especially Saudis. I don't know what's going to happen at that point of time if oil starts dumping at a 70.5, but there's going to be huge panic across the board. I mean, Russia is also going to be in a big panic. So it's a do or die for oil, actually. And do and die for the countries who are heavily reliant on crude oil income. Basically, the primary source of income is crude oil. And those who are literally dependent on crude oil as a secondary source of energy, for example, Europe, China, India, many Asian countries, they are going to mint a lot and lot of money with it. They will be so powerful. They will have upper hands versus those who are having the oil revenue basically as the primary source. So this chart is very very interesting to me. I would like to see oil pump to 150 $160, but in case if we go for a downside move, I'm I think you all should be ready for some very interesting showdown. Something major is gonna happen basically. I don't know, maybe some war broke out or I don't know, but something major is gonna happen so as to overturn this downside move on oil. But for now, this is very very likely. Let's also talk about gold over here. My plan for the gold is very very simple. On a weekly time frame, I am bullish. There is nothing to be bearish about. I'm very very bullish on gold. The only problem with the gold over here is that if you just look at from the logarithmic chart perspective, guys, gold is very much topped in my view. Not exactly the full I would say topped, but yes, it is locally topped in my view. How it is locally topped? Practically, because if you see there was a breakout over here. The breakout leads to a pump and a retest happens over here. A fake out again, flip that support this trend line and then pump it back up. Practically speaking, for the gold, I think we already had the move on the downside as 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So you got 5 waves. This can be counted as a WXY as well, but the move that we are watching right now is 5 waves. This is like 1, 2, and then you got a move on the upside is some sort of a interesting 5 waves again for a bigger wave 3. You want to see the 5 waves? Yes, that's a 5 waves. 1, 2, 3. Wave 3 is always highs, new all-time highs, ABC, regular, expanded, flat. And then you got a 5 waves over here as well. Practically speaking, I'm really bullish on gold for the next 10 years. And my target for the gold is overall around $3,300 minimum. That will be the overall target. But for those who have literally bought gold from or riding from $1,900, your stop losses are not safe. Gold is gonna dump to $1,800 to $1,780 before it can pump it up to $3,300. So that is going to happen. That catalyst will happen, because what's gonna happen is that let's say if oil price starts dumping under 70.5, of course the countries many countries are going to run into forex deficit and they won't be able to buy more gold versus there's a lot of supply in the market. Practically speaking, you will be seeing a very good drop in gold, maybe towards $1,780. So if I would be you, what I would be doing is I would simply sell my golds. Actually, I would literally do that. I'd do anything. I mean, 2,500 I've sold a lot of physical gold actually, and lot of digital gold, but I still have more gold left as a liquidity practically, not playing as a trading purpose, but purely from the liquidity purpose, because just in case we have some irregularities in the market, you need that gold as a liquidity so that you can simply sell in the open market quickly and you can generate more and more cash. So that is what I think my target is. I think on the lower term time frame, this is higher term time frame. We are very close to wave 3. This is, if you see, this is wave 1, this is wave 2, and that's like wave 3 over here. Maybe one more push is the possibility, but overall, let's say this is wave 3. Wave 4 is going to go down and sweep the lows to $2,300, and after that, I'm expecting one more push on an upside by end of the year on gold, and putting the new all-time highs around $2,700 to $2,800. That's it. That is going to be our top for gold in my view, the generational top. And I would like to see gold dumping a lot to $1,900, maybe under $1,900. My Fibonacci level targets for gold are $1,780. That's what the minimum target for gold. Just imagine what's going to happen. Just look at it. What happens when oil dumps and gold dumps together? What happens? Both the thing dumps together. What happens? it also means that, when gold starts topping out, Bitcoin always tops out. You can look at the historical chart from 2010 till now. Gold and Bitcoin is having a very, very similar sort of, what I would say, a high, you know, a very, very high likelihood of being going, in the same direction. If gold pumps, Bitcoin pumps normally. Gold starts dumping, Bitcoin starts dumping normally. So remember, if we are expecting gold to dump to $1,800, you should also be expecting Bitcoin to dump to $30,000. Yes, whether you like it or not, it's a very, very bitter pill, but it's true. Because the hard time frame on the Bitcoin is not that looking good. It's not that looking strong. It's ugly as fuck. Just imagine a bearish engulfing candle is going to form on the weekly if we are going to close CME like this on the next 3 hours 42 minutes. Meaning that the next week onwards, we will be seeing Bitcoin dumping to 54,000 minimum and can even dumping back down to $47,000. So practically speaking, ladies and gentlemen, whatever we are expecting, everybody expects to pump it up to new all-time highs. One more push. Just give us one more push like this. Kalas. $78,000, $80,000. Kalas. We don't want more. Just give us that. Finish this everything and just sell everything and go. That's it. Go away from the market, practically speaking. But the problem over here is every time Bitcoin go into this premium zone, every time it goes to this premium zone, every damn time it goes to this premium zone, the red box, there is a huge, huge, huge sell-off. You look at here on the monthly, July, huge sell-off. And you can see in June, huge sell-off. Why I'm saying July, huge sell-off, even though it is green, the candle is green, but you see the rejection, the candle rejection, huge tail we had, which means that there is a huge sell-off. You see, every month since April, whenever we go into this red box, we just see a big, big, big sell-off, which means that someone is literally, selling it back. It's just trying to hedge its position, or I would say even booking profits, but we don't know exactly who is doing it at this point. Whosoever it's going to be, he is going to be the biggest winner in my view. Why? Because at this point, we still have two probabilities or opportunities, I would say, for Bitcoin. First, as I mentioned, irregular expanded flat, and that's what you have in front of your screen. But we have two scenarios primarily here. The bull case and the bear case. The bear case is here. Very, very simple scenario you have on the bear case. The B wave is already in over here. This might be your B wave because normally B wave is 3 waves, A, B, and C. Just imagine, look at it. You will be able to buy Bitcoin anywhere between. Your bottom for the Bitcoin would be anywhere between 1st August 2025 to 1st December 2025. That's where your bottom would be for Bitcoin. You can buy from there whatever the price would be at that point of time in between, and you can just simply start accumulating. Because after that, the 2026 is going to give you a generational top and a biggest bull run you would ever expect or you would ever see. You will see a very nasty move on and upside on Bitcoins, which is going to take it straight away towards $400,000, 761 at Fibonacci levels. Just imagine, just put it on the logarithmic chart like this. Just put everything on the logarithmic chart. Just imagine, if anyone tells you we are going into the bear market, I would say just unfollow it or unfollow that person. Even if we dump to $20,000, it's not the bear market. It's a bigger accumulation. We are still in the bull run. We were never in the bear market. Your bull run started from $3,000 over here. That was your first rally, and now we are just accumulation phase is happening. The bigger the accumulation, the more bigger the expansion. Everybody knows about it, right? The more bigger the accumulation, the more and the huge expansion will happen. And which also means that, if you get an opportunity to buy Bitcoin around 20,000 or anything under 20,000, you literally have to. This is not a financial advice, but you literally have to sell every damn thing we have and just go into Bitcoin. That is going to be your biggest opportunity in market, practically speaking, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, I think Bitcoin is far by. It's in its bigger bull run, and you should not be afraid of it. It's just accumulating. That's it. The bull case is still on the table, but I don't know how it's gonna play out because the USD dominance is looking bullish to me. I don't know how it's gonna pump from here to 140, maybe $130 or 130K dollars. I don't know how it's gonna do that. But let's say in case if it does, then we'll think about it, how to play. But for now, we still have this bull case scenario on table till we are above $44,000. Yes, my friends, we still have it. I think the target for the Bitcoin of 400,000, it's not going to be 400,000, it's going to be $484,000 to be precise, based on the fibs, because either it should be based on fibs or either it should be something else. But based on the fibs, I think the 484,000, or maybe you can also say the range highs, and the range highs would be exactly around 400 and normally we go for a range highs. So yeah, it would be around 307,784 here. 307,784.31. So that's going to be your minimum target, and extended target would be 402,946.50. That's going to be our target for the bull run. Then would be a target. That's like a book target. It's a bookish target basically. We will see how bigger the wave 3 would be and how bigger the expansion would be. At that point of time, we will change our target. But based on the data that we have right now, or I have right now at this point, based on the data, your minimum target will be 307,784.3, and your extended target will be 402,946.5. How soon it can happen? Yes, that your answer would be based on the time fibs, which is here. Based on the time fib, your target normally would be achieved around 3414 Fibonacci levels, which would be around 1st of November 2028. Your 484,000 is going to be achieved around 1st of November or on or before 1st of November. I mean, it can be before as well, plus minus 2 months, 2028 plus minus 2 months. And that's where your blow off top is going to happen at that point of time, because this is literally going to be your bull run. Just look at it. If you go for a 484,000, it's like we started a bull run from $177. We just keep on pumping up. Blow off top is going to happen, and we're going to dump down to $50,000. Accumulation is going to happen for $35,000. Just accumulate it. 35 to 40,000 is going to be our biggest support. We accumulate for like next few years, for like another 3 to 4 years, we accumulate it. And then we go for $1 million target for Bitcoin. It all depends. But overall, ladies and gentlemen, 2028 is where I expect Bitcoin to, give us or touch the $400,000 in my view, based on the time fib study. So that's all what I have for today's stream. Simply going to wait for how the Bitcoin is going to flip and give us the, more, whatever the LTF scenario is going to play out, whether bullish or bearish, we're going to play it. If it loses the support, we're going to short it easily. If it's not, we will long it as well. My target is 61.3 is going to be my target for Bitcoin for scalp. So let's see what we can catch it over the weekend. The last chart for today would be INJ. So if you just look at the INJ tethers, as I mentioned previously as well, it's not looking good actually. It's really, really not looking good. And every time I've mentioned, even the previous live stream I mentioned, very, very clear, the daily levels is your resistance. $22 is your resistance. A rejection from there is going to happen. And I am expecting INJ to dump it back down to $12 and later on $9. That is absolutely going to be your bottom for INJ. For now, just avoid it. patiently wait for it to give you that entry. After that, only you buy. If in case if you feel that you should buy over here, yes, it's up to you. You can buy over here or you can DCA. But remember, if I were you, I would be very much happy to buy the flip of $22. So I would be very happy to buy higher with a good confirmation. So let's just flip the $22 so you can buy over there with a very tight invalidation of $20. And your take profit targets would be the sweep of the highs of $34, giving you the good risk reward, good rewards over here. That's going to be a good trade actually, rather than just risking here at this point. The two charts I would like to discuss before I go or leave. First of all, Bitcoin dominance plan is still same, guys. Still same. Just that one more push is very, very expected, as I mentioned. We need to test 58.45 to 59.1%. And once that happens, kalas. Once that happens, I think we are done. We are done for good, actually. We are literally done for good. Even not necessarily we should be going to exactly 59%. We can even reject from 58.4. Anywhere, I mean, the exact number is 58.38%. We have one rocket on the daily time frame as well. If you look at from the perspective of the daily RSI, the RSI is still struggling. As you can see, their momentum is losing. So we are forming a very good bearish divergence over here on the daily time frame as well. I'm really happy with it. So once the divergence forms, guys, I do think that, why am I buying FET? Because I do think that alts are going to outperform Bitcoin. So doesn't mean that alts will pump and it's going to go nuts. There's going to be alt season. Not necessary. But what it means that alts are going to outperform Bitcoin. So practically, let's say if all your net worth is in Bitcoin, it's better to move from Bitcoin to Ethereum and alts, because that way you can make more and more Bitcoin. Finally, your purpose should be to accumulate more and more Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin is going to $450,000 or $409,000 in 2028, 4 years down the line from now, which means that you need to accumulate more and more Bitcoin so that your net worth is going to increase, because dollar is not going to practically have value at that point of time. You have to make that plan. If you really want to have the net worth, if you're targeting the net worth, that way your mindset should be. Talking about the Ethereum, let's talk about ETH Bitcoin charts over here. Same plan for the ETH Bitcoin. One more downside. Just give me the one more push on the downside. Sweep the lows, because I'm missing one more candle. Wave count. 1, 2. That's your wave 3. 4. You already got ABC. So I want one more downside like this for the wave 5. And once that one more downside is done, trust me, guys, you're going to see the biggest bounce on ETH Bitcoin literally towards 4980 minimum. Anything under these levels, you will be watching a 23.3% bounce on ETH Bitcoin, meaning Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin by 23.3%. So let's say if Bitcoin pumps $100 or $1,000, Ethereum is going to literally pump, or let's say Bitcoin pumps 10%, Ethereum is going to pump 23.3% more, meaning it's going to pump 12.23% instead of $10, something like that. So this is exactly, what the ETH BTC is giving us. I think it's very bullish to me, actually. Just give me that one more dip and let's end this. Others, same plan. I want others to give us 786 Fibonacci levels retest. Not necessarily we might get that retest. I'm a little bit greedy over here, but in case if it goes for the golden pocket zone and 702 as well, I'm not going to go for 886. But just in case, if we go for 786 to 702 as well, I would take it with love. And I would simply be looking for a bounce on others from there to at least pump up to the level of 786 Fibonacci levels for 85%. But what's going to happen from there, we will see. There are two possibilities over there. Maybe this, bullish wolf wave is just wave A, the top is in. This is going to be our wave B over here. the 85 to 90% pump which is going to happen for alts. And after that, we will see a massive dump for wave C as well. I mean, that's a worst case scenario. But whatever going to happen, you see, whatever happens, we are definitely going to see that B wave towards $300 billion or $304 billion, giving us a very good 85 to 87% bounce on others, meaning that alts are going to be favorable at that point of time. So that's all for the today's stream, guys. I hope you loved it, and I hope the plan is clear. If you have any confusion, if you have any queries, just ask me, ping me. USD dominance is bullish, guys, and I do think that USD dominance is right now testing the range highs. We need a liquidity. That's your liquidity pool. So what is going to happen is maybe one more push on like this, one more push, and then we can just run down like this, because in my view this is where it ended, and that's where your wave A was, wave B was, and you got an impulsive irregular expanded flat. So which means that, ladies and gentlemen, whatever the dip you really want to buy, just buy it. We want to buy it, that's it. So practically, even if we get something like this on the downside, just buy it. Don't wait for 50k, don't wait for 40k, 47k. Just buy it for spot backs. And once we restart reclaiming 59.4 again, you start adding coin margin longs with your spot backs with the confirmation, and you can let it ride to 70k as well. September might be good actually if we get this dump quickly by few days of September, like first week of September. If we do happen to get that dump, September can be really good in giving this pump. Actually, that is going to be a very good pump for the month of September. But let's see. I mean, it's too early to say. Historically, September is red, so yes, I do believe that it can be red in my view. But here's the dominance is giving me a very good vibes over here, that this can be a deviation, very good deviation. If you look at the 4 hours time frame, 4 hours chart as well, there is a very good bearish divergence. You see over here the price made higher highs, and there is a good bad divergence over here. I mean, it just tells me, it screams me. My hands are literally, my fingers are like, just press the buy button. That's what it wants. But you really need to wait for certain levels. You simply can't just blindly buy anything without any stop loss or invalidation. That is where you get wrecked in case if things don't play as per the plan. So honestly speaking, the way the price action looks like, it tells me you have a 4 hour bearish divergence on USD dominance. Practically everything looks great and favorable in pump. So favorable to pump the market basically for Bitcoin and everything else. But if you really see here on the USD dominance funds on the lower term time frame, there is one wave which is missing. Normally the pump ends up with 5 waves. You see? Normally the pump ends with 5 waves. So that's your wave 1, that's your wave 2, wave 3. Over here with the new all-time highs, that's your small wave 4. Give us one more push towards 6%. A deviation, maybe even like this. And another bearish divergence happens, double bearish divergence, and then we can just, dump it down. That is going to be a trend line. Once we break this trend line, you buy, bearish retest happens, and we go for a dump like this. So that is where you got a very interesting, range, basically, very good range. So that's an accumulation that's happened. That's a very good accumulation happening. And that's going to be like a deviation, and you're going to see an expansion on the downside for USD dominance, ladies and gentlemen. So practically speaking, I think the chart tells me that September is going to be green actually. The USD dominance chart tells me that September is going to be like, I personally expect red, but the chart tells me that September can be a very good green actually. Nobody expects green, but this might be green actually. I don't know. It tells me. The worst case scenario for September would be a sideways, meaning that this can be A, this can be B, this can be C, irregular expanded flat. We go for 1, 2. We already started downside move. The top is in for USD dominance. Wave 3, 4, 5 here, like a range accumulation, and then we go for one more push on an upside like this. for maybe September. Just sweep the lows and go for an upside like this. So practically speaking, I think if we can flip the 58,800, I'm buying, guys. I will buy with a very tight stop loss. And once we flip 59.5, I'll just simply move my stops at break even. So every trade, as and when 59.5 is moved, we just move our stops to break even. We don't lose anything. In case if we stop out, we don't make anything. But just in case if this is the bottom, we will make a good amount of money with the stops at break even at that point of time. So that's how we will play with the confirmation. So that's all, ladies and gentlemen. That's all. I hope you guys loved it. Do trade on Bybit, guys, and I wish you all a very happy weekend. Just before we leave, just wanted to tell you that um, things are not looking that great. Actually, something is brewing in the Middle East. So, what I personally feel is that you have the August is done. So now you only have 2 months left, or I would say even 1 month left. If the Biden administration can literally resolve the conflict of Israel and Palestine, basically, then I think a very high chance for them to get re-elected. So maybe you might see the U.S. citizens might get the first female president. But if not, then I think Trump is going to be the winner. But when everybody says Trump is good for the US, but I do think if you just for the US citizens, if you just go deep dive on what Trump did in this past presidency, basically, I think he has done a lot of blunders. He has not done anything to curb practically, to save the US economy. Nothing. He just kept on printing. Nothing. He has done nothing, basically. So I don't know. I mean, whether Congress comes or Trump's come, I don't find anything. I mean, the system, the basically things are going to remain same. It's just that maybe Trump normally don't ask any advisors. I mean, he just make decisions. That's it. That's the only major difference. Just want to tell you, for those who are living in Middle East and Europe, you should at least have some backup. Actually, have something in Asian countries. Like maybe India, maybe Singapore, China, maybe any Asian countries, Vietnam, South Asia as well. Of course, not only Asian. Have something. I mean, Sri Lanka is very cheap. You can easily have for those who have a net worth above $100,000, it's very easy for you to get a double citizenship. A very good house you can buy for less than $30,000 in Sri Lanka, on the beach, basically. And just in case if something happens, you should have the bank account there as well. So I mean, I'm not specifically saying Sri Lanka, I'm just giving you an idea, basically. Something you should have your backups. That's it. That's what I want to tell you. So that's all for the today's stream, guys. And I think weekend will be a little bit sideways and choppy, but after the close candle on the CME chart in the next 3 hours, once we close the bearish candle for the CMEs, I think Bitcoin will pump, actually. Very likely. It's like we close bearish and make everyone bearish again. In the next 3 hours, 19 minutes, we will close weekly as well as the monthly candle for the very first time under 59,400. Let's see, the volume is pretty much high, as you can see. It's on the rise with the volume as we are watching right now. So practically speaking, I think once the CME closes, then we will see some more volatility. Huge volatility will happen. So that's all, guys, and thank you. Have a nice night. Take care. Bye bye.